Talking mining today with Advanced Gold. Advanced trades as AAX. Got the CEO, Allan Barry Laboucan. Al, appreciate you spending some time here. This one came across my desk a little interesting. I've known you for a while as an analyst. Now you're running a mining company. For those not familiar, let's run through it.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the show, Rob. I'm really excited about the work you're doing at StockPulse. And for my company, Advanced Gold, I think best thing would be to sort of start at the start and lead to our recent news. What we've got going is I originally was approached with this project a couple years ago, about 3 years ago now, when I came down to Mexico for a property visit. What really impressed me was that we drove right up to the property in a paved road that goes right through the property. I was looking around, I saw power lines going through there as well. And then the guys took me to where there had been underground mining by Panolis back 20 years ago or so. And we did we went underground, and I got to look at the mineralization, and I saw that they had some decent wide 2 to 4 meter type wide veins that they had mined down to about 70 meters. And the guys that presented it to me, they thought, well, do you think that we could extend that? And I said, before we extend that, we need to drill some holes around it and below it to see if that vein continues. So we started drilling below it, and the first hole we hit was like a 12-meter vein. And that was significantly bigger than the other vein, the vein higher up in it. And I thought, man, that's a pretty big vein. So then we poked some more holes around it. We found some good grades, some from anomalous all the way up to high grade gold. And they had been mining silver with no gold in that oxide zone closer to surface. So we drilled about 10 holes, and we found a network of these mineralized veins with gold and silver in them, covering an area of about 400 meters of strike length and 200 meters of width right beside the vein, the main vein that was mined. So then we were having troubles trying to find the boiling zone of the epithermal vein system. So then we started doing geophysics about 2 months ago. The first geophysics program showed about an 800 meter by, let's say, 400 meter wide anomaly. Now, that's a very big anomaly. To put it into context, about 12 miles down the road is where Teck has their San Nicolas mine. How they found that was doing the same kind of IP geophysical survey. They found a 500 meter by 500 meter anomaly. They drilled one hole, the first hole into it hit a 200 meter intersection of massive sulfides. So then the rest was history. Western Copper had it at the time, Teck bought them out. That's about 12 miles away from us. So we did the same kind of survey, and we found an 800 meter by 400 meter, so almost the same size in overall square meters. But we found that at the southern end of it, it was still wide open, and it was getting closer to surface due to elevation relief. So we wanted to do a second round of geophysics to determine how big that anomaly was. So recently we did another second phase of survey, and just yesterday we reported that the anomaly is now at least 1,000 meters by 400 to 500 meters. So you're talking about twice the size of the San Nicolas mine that's not too far from us. And about 12 miles to the south of us is a 25,000 ton per day gold mine open pit. So we're in the middle of elephant country, and it now looks like we've got an elephant-sized geophysical anomaly with a network of veins that are mineralized right above it. And this looks like the source for everything. The next phase of work will be to get in there and do a drilling. We've got 2 holes designed for the next drill program. I hope to have that started within about 10 days or so, 10 days to 2 weeks. And things are getting very exciting. And on the value proposition, Rob, we're a company with a very tight share structure, fully diluted. We have 45 million shares. On a fully diluted basis, I own around 10% of it. Our chairman owns around 20% of the company. We've got another small group of investors that are associated with me and the chairman that own probably another 20%. And we've got a good funding group out of Quebec that's done the last 3 of our private placements that's in there for about another 20% or so. So there's a very small float for our stock, very tightly held. And then you look at the valuation, we've got, like I said, 45 million shares trading at 8 cents, gives us about a 3.2 million valuation. And I think we're, like I said, we're in the middle of elephant country, and it looks like we've got an elephant geophysical anomaly sitting right beside a large network of veins with widespread gold and silver mineralization.
Okay, Al, you've built a career on being a handicapper, if you will, in the mining sector. What you just laid out was some pretty good information, and you're surrounded by so-called elephants in elephant country. Handicap AAX a little bit here. They can't guide on it, but you're an 8-cent stock in the overall scheme of things. How does that make sense?
Well, I think part of it is a product of what we're going through in the junior exploration market right now, Rob. We've seen gold break out, and I've commented on that a lot in my Allan Barry reports. And I think that we've got a lot higher to go. I mean, you look at the various different reasons of why gold has moved. You've got debt going through the roof. Now all the debt is negative. All of these things are transpiring to move gold where it is now, and I believe a lot higher. But the only ones that have really moved so far are sort of the hot, larger juniors, the mid tiers, and the majors. And so we're kind of in that lower end of the food scale, which is why I think we have such a low valuation. But I'll tell you, Rob, I look at a lot of projects. I've been looking at a lot of projects since I started my reports in 2005. And this one gives me goosebumps when I think about it, simply because it is in the middle of major mining company, elephant country. And the specific anomaly as well. I mean, I've seen a lot of geophysical anomalies over my career, and usually, you're sort of looking at one that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere. In this case, not only are we sitting in the middle of elephant country, but we've got that network of veins sitting right above this anomaly. And then when you look at the anomaly, it's consistent from line to line to line, where you're getting this high chargeability, and it's over at least 1,000 meters. This is sort of a perfect storm for an exploration target, and I just think that we're kind of underloved because right now we're still talking about geophysics. I think what could be what will unlock our potential, our realistic potential, is when we start to poke some drill holes into it, which, as I said, I'm hoping within about 10 days or 2 weeks to get that underway.
Okay, so we got a pretty good idea here of what Advance is about. Explained it pretty good here. Checked off a lot of boxes. What can go wrong here?
Well, we're always dealing with Mother Nature, and she has a way of throwing curveballs at people, but if you had to go through a checklist of why something should hit, as you perfectly stated, I've kind of laid it all out there. We've got big mines around us. Oh, and the one thing I didn't say is San Nicolas is a VMS deposit, and those VMS deposits are always found in clusters. So far, there's only one in the cluster. And now 12 miles away, we've got this big geophysical anomaly. So, all the check marks of an exploration target have been ticked off. And now we just have that last element, which is to get in there and drill this geophysical anomaly and see what we've got.
You touched on your shareholders earlier, but always curious about liquidity. So you can account for most of the stock then, I imagine.
Yeah, well, as I said, 30% of it, 10% of it I can account for personally. 20% of it I can account for as our chairman has it. We both have to report our trades, and neither one of us have ever sold any of the stock. And then we've got a network of guys around us that probably have another 20. And the group in Quebec that I mentioned earlier has been funding us. These guys actually have been following my research reports, the Allan Barry reports, for a number of years, and have made some good money over the years on some of my picks. And they've been backing us, and they're swing for the fences kind of guys. They're not in this to see the stock go up a dime or something like that. They want us to go out there and find something big, and looks like we might have that.
For those in the too good to be true camp, put the analyst hat on and assess risk for AAX.
Well, there's always risk in exploration, Rob, but the thing you got to do is tick off those boxes to give you less risk in exploration. Being in elephant country, having the drill holes and then the geophysical anomaly sitting right below it, having a road going through our property with power going through it, that has an effect on what you have to find as far as grade to make it a go. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, Canada, where everything is helicopter supported and diesel powered, you got to find something quite spectacular. We're in the lowest cost jurisdiction in the world for exploration and mine development. And Mag Silver and Fresnillo are about 50 miles down the road from us, and they are the two lowest cost. Mag Silver is going to be in production next year, but Fresnillo is the lowest cost producer of silver in the world, and we're in a state, the state of Zacatecas, is where 10% of the silver ever produced worldwide has come from. So it's about checking off those boxes and reducing the risk in exploration. And we've pretty much de-risked our exploration as much as we can. And now we're going to do the last element, which is to get in there and see what this big anomaly has to tell us.
Allan Barry Laboucan, CEO, Advanced Gold, AAX on the venture. Okay, Al, wish you luck here. I look forward to tracking the results here as they come in and certainly keep in touch with you.
Thank you very much, Rob. And anytime, I'm always available to talk more. I'd love to talk to you once we get that drilling going.